And it was just things that I was saying that was just already out there that I was confirming. And then when I met up with Puff, it was like he already knew what I was.
I knew Mary since my first album, Reasonable Doubt. I was nobody guy with a nobody label, and she came through for me.
Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged.
Could Mary J. Blige's earth-shattering revelations be the ultimate betrayal that finally exposes Diddy's darkest secrets at Bad Boy Records? Trust me, what I'm about to tell you will leave you speechless.
So when I met Puff, I was, blown away. But it took some years to grow into that and accepting someone that just was so excited about being seen.
And why, just why did industry whistleblower Jaguar Wright specifically call out Mary J. Blige when discussing those bone-chilling secrets of Bad Boy Records? The answer will shock you to your core.
Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged.
But wait, there's more. Let's talk about Faith Evans, who called her time at Bad Boy unforgettable. But honey, was it unforgettable because of the music or something far, far darker?
It was definitely a ride, and I must say, despite all the craziness and, everyone's careers and lives probably didn't end up how they thought it would, but it was a lot of fun.
Now let's dive into the most intriguing relationship in the music industry, the unshakable bond between Mary J. Blige and Diddy. Is it really built on mutual ambition, or does it hide something more sinister? Mary has always credited Diddy, formerly known as Puff Daddy, as her mentor and biggest cheerleader. She even confessed, "I needed what he had," talking about his ambition and industry knowledge. But honey, there's so much more to this story.
When I met Puff, I was afraid of success, afraid to do anything that could put so much attention on me. And then when I met him, he was the complete opposite. And he was such a good thing for me.
Let me spill some serious tea about their partnership. Was it purely professional, or was Mary's loyalty tied to deeper, darker secrets? Picture this. It's the early 90s, and Diddy is making his name at Uptown Records. Together, they absolutely revolutionized R&B with Mary's debut album, What's the 411? It was a cultural reset, darling, but while their work was changing music forever, whispers started circulating that their relationship wasn't quite what it seemed on the surface. And here's where it gets juicy. Jaguar Wright has been raising eyebrows, suggesting that Mary isn't just some innocent bystander in Diddy's empire, but an active participant. In a viral clip that had everyone gagging, Jaguar named Mary directly, hinting that she knew way more than she was letting on about the shady dealings at Bad Boy Records.
Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged.
But hold on to your wigs, because Jaguar's allegations don't stop there. She claimed the culture at Bad Boy was built on fear and silence, making it nearly impossible for artists to speak out without facing serious consequences. Was our Queen Mary J. actually helping keep those voices silent? The plot thickens. Now let me tell you about what appears to be one of hip-hop and R&B's most fascinating friendships. When Mary recently graced People magazine's cover, both she and Diddy couldn't stop gushing about their incredible bond. Diddy called her one of the greatest storytellers in R&B history, saying she created a lane for women worldwide to speak their truth to power. Ironic, isn't it? Mary, bless her heart, admitted that Diddy wasn't just a teacher, he was her biggest cheerleader. Puff was a huge inspiration for me, she reflected, adding that he wanted all of this for me more than I wanted it myself. Can you believe it? Picture an 18-year-old Mary, plucked from Yonkers to become Uptown Records' youngest and first female artist. Under Andre Harrell's direction, Diddy's mentor, she transformed into a superstar. Diddy even declared her his sister and best friend, calling her an unstoppable force. Mary confessed she was once terrified of success and ambition, something Diddy apparently couldn't relate to. But darling, their partnership turned her into the Emmy and Grammy-winning powerhouse we know today.
His ambition pushed me to be ambitious, because I didn't know how, because, when you come from where I come from, you're scared to be ambitious, you're scared to want more. And so when I met Puff, I was blown away.
But let's switch gears and talk about another Bad Boy legend, Faith Evans. She described her time with the label as absolutely unforgettable, filled with incredible highs. But honey, what about those lows she's not talking about? From 1994 to 2004, she was part of the Bad Boy family before branching out to start her own label, Prolific Music Group. And can we talk about her success? Her 2005 album, The First Lady, hit #2 on the Billboard 200.
Hey, what's up? It's the First Lady Faith Evans, aka Big Fizzy from the Bricks, y'all.
In 2017, Faith blessed us with The King and I, a heart-wrenching collaboration with Biggie. 25 tracks telling their beautiful love story from their first meeting until his tragic passing in 1997.
We spent a lot of time, a lot of dollars, you know, just kind of trying to fight, or not even fight for justice, pretty much, and hoping that the authorities would bring someone.
Now let's dish about Faith's love life after Biggie. She found love again with Rusaw, and they had 2 beautiful children together. But things got messy in August 2010 when she was arrested for DUI. Their marriage crumbled, ending in divorce in 2011, and she had to complete a 13-week drug treatment program to get her charges dropped.
Music lover Major Relaford was shocked to hear R&B recording artist Faith Evans faces drug charges.
She's a positive artist, and I wouldn't know that thing like that.
But here's where things get really interesting. Some fans and sources claim Diddy was actually pulling the strings, controlling Evans and getting her involved with substances. One fan dropped this bombshell. Look at how many people have died around Diddy. His ex-wife's death is suspicious too. He has had to do some bad things to get and stay at the level he's at. Another fan theorized that Faith might know who was behind Biggie's death but is staying quiet to protect herself and her children. Chilling, right? When Diddy's name started getting connected to Biggie's death, Faith surprisingly came to his defense. She insisted, "What I know is that Puff would never have Big unalived, would never be involved in unaliving one of his best friends." She emphasized their unique bond, saying even she never had such a close connection with Diddy as Biggie did. Faith stood firm, saying if they believed Diddy was responsible, they would have sued him long ago. "You don't think they tried to get us to do that?" she questioned. But here's the real tea. Mary's friendship with Diddy didn't reflect the notorious reputation of Bad Boy Records. We're talking financial disputes, allegations of mistreatment, and criminal activities allegedly orchestrated by Diddy himself. From money laundering whispers to connections with violent incidents, the label's history is dripping with scandal. And Mary J. Blige's role? Well, insiders suggest her unwavering loyalty to Diddy wasn't just about gratitude, it was about survival. Did she help cover up crimes to protect her own career? And darling, just how deep does this rabbit hole go? Let's look at Bad Boy's star-studded roster. The notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, Faith Evans, Mace, The Lox, all caught in what seems to be a web of manipulation, betrayal, and tragedy. And while Mary wasn't officially signed to Bad Boy, her ties to Diddy and this group are impossible to ignore. Now let me tell you about the tragedy that shook Bad Boy to its core. Biggie's death. It was so sudden and unexpected that many believe it marked the beginning of Bad Boy's downfall. Diddy's former bodyguard even revealed how Biggie's death led to losing money from one of his contracts.
Todd knew that he might have been cash flow broke because he had to be out there doing Puff album to get that money.
But wait, it gets worse. The bodyguard claimed Biggie actually hated Diddy. Apparently, their relationship wasn't nearly as close as Diddy made it seem in public, and Biggie had figured out that Diddy was using him for financial gain, especially after seeing what happened to Craig.
Big used to always clown him. You understand? You know, but Big needed him just as much as he needed Big.
Here's the kicker. Biggie stayed with Diddy, despite knowing his true colors, because he was desperate to get his publishing rights back from the Bad Boy mogul. Can you believe the drama?
Well, Big had to play the game, because Big wanted to get his publishing back and his marketing that he had sold out to Puff.
The tea gets even hotter. The bodyguard claimed he discovered Biggie's Bad Boy contract in Diddy's briefcase during a flight. It detailed massive sums of money in $250,000 increments, but Puff kept the publishing royalties. Biggie was supposedly bragging about the millions he'd make from this new deal.
I had a contract, and what happened was when me and Puff rode on the plane coming back down there, Puff gave me his briefcase.
Then came the tragic night that changed everything. During the promotion tour for his second album, Biggie was notoriously unalived. The details? Honey, they're shocking. Biggie was at a party with Diddy, and when they left, they took separate cars. Diddy was in front, Biggie behind. Suddenly, Biggie's car stopped, and that's when the unthinkable happened. The bodyguard claimed it wasn't a drive-by. The unaliver had been waiting all night.
I don't give a Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. something's got to change.
According to the FBI report, and this is where it gets really interesting, Wallace was in a Chevrolet Suburban when a Chevy SS Impala pulled up at a red light and opened fire. They just left the Peterson Automotive Museum party, with Diddy leaving right after, completely intoxicated. The bodyguard had to drive that night, and here's the shocker. He told the FBI their car was behind Biggie's.
It's a setup. They was setting that boy up, man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Now, let's talk about Craig Mack, another early bad boy success story that turned sour. His career started soaring, but then mysteriously plummeted. People whisper it was doomed from the start, right when Diddy discovered Biggie. And honey, some say there was even an attempt on Craig's life.
No cash, no record. I'm not gonna be sitting here going in the studio all night, every night, busting and I ain't seeing nothing from it.
Poor Craig was constantly ridiculed for his appearance in hip-hop media. The cruel jokes became unbearable, and Diddy, he just stood by and watched it happen. Some say it's because Craig was overshadowing Biggie's career, and Diddy wasn't having any of that.
Puff didn't like him for whatever reason he didn't. He told Craig, yo, if you don't fire your manager, nigga, you can't work for Bad Boy.
The tension between Biggie and Craig Mack was real, though they never publicly spilled the tea about why they couldn't get along.
Is Craig on the album? Matt? Yeah. Nah. You can't curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
But here's the real reason Craig left. He couldn't stomach Diddy's vision of commercial rap. He was disgusted by the immoral parties, excessive drinking, and Diddy's power trips over artists. His resistance to Diddy's control led to his downfall. He even received death threats and had some close calls on the streets. Craig disappeared from TV, only to resurface in a video from the Overcomer Ministry, a controversial Christian group in South Carolina that some call a cult.
Craig Mack and Biggie Smalls are from two different type of eras.
People noticed a dramatic change in Craig after this video. He seemed happier, more energetic, like he'd escaped some kind of curse. That's when people started whispering about the bad boy curse and why artists kept leaving the label.
It's Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa!
Tragically, Craig's health deteriorated year after year, and on March 12, 2018, he passed away from heart failure in a hospital near his home in Walterboro, South Carolina. Then there's Mase. Everyone thought he'd be the next big thing in both R&B and rap.
We don't want talented as a bad boy.
But darling, imagine the shock when this chart-topping rapper suddenly became a pastor. People couldn't wrap their heads around it. How does a 19-year-old rapper wake up one day and decide to become a minister?
I had a gun in my lap. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking to God. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to do this.
In 1999, Mason Betha, that's Mace's real name, dropped a bombshell. He was leaving Bad Boy to start SANE Ministries, Saving a Nation Endangered. He claimed he had a profound experience with God and started calling himself Minister Mace, saying he'd been leading people down a path to hell.
The reason why I decided to start rapping, I just wanted to better my life. I wanted to do something better for my life. Not all the time money is the best thing for your life.
At the peak of his success with Harlem World, Mase made a shocking confession to a radio interviewer. I felt like I had a lot of money, but I didn't really know who I was. But honey, some people aren't buying it. Everyone knows Diddy doesn't just let people walk away from bad boy contracts. After 5 years without royalties, Mase came back with Welcome Back under Bad Boy, but the drama wasn't over. He wanted out again and even ambushed Diddy in an interview, begging to be released from his contract.
The devil can use him aggressively, and I want you to know God could use me aggressively.
The plot thickens. In 2016, Mase returned for a Bad Boy Records tour, only to start throwing shade at his former boss right after.
When I see the hurt and the pains of other people on Bad Boy, that motivates me to say something so I don't be deemed as a person.
New heights when Diddy gave his passionate Grammy speech about hip-hop not getting respect. Mase wasn't having it. In a now-deleted Instagram post, he dragged Diddy. Your past business practices knowingly has continued purposely starved your artists. The tea? Mase claimed he never got paid even though he wrote all those Bad Boy hits.
Beats, you ain't getting the money, you ain't getting the publishing, you ain't getting the respect. And I don't think you're like that.
No.
Mase even threw shade at Diddy's name change to Brother Love in his lyrics. people started connecting dots about Biggie's death and financial motives. But wait, we can't forget about the locks. Mary J. Blige discovered them and recommended them to Diddy. They blew up after appearing on It's All About the Benjamins.
You kind of never know like it's gonna be what song's gonna be extra crazy. So and we spit and this took place. But I fought it for a minute. I did it. I did my verse that night.
But drama alert. The group got fed up with Diddy's direction after their 1998 album Money, Power, and Respect flopped. After Biggie's death, Diddy went mainstream, abandoning their hardcore street sound.
He was one of them dudes that would just say crazy stuff anyway, all the time, on a daily basis. He drunk 40 ounces,
So what did they do? They started appearing on Rough Riders tracks. DMX's label, The Audacity.
X was already a star in Yonkers in our eyes. Right. Maybe 7 to 10 years before he ever dropped the album.
But Diddy wasn't letting go that easy. He held them to their contract, forcing the Locks to start a Free the Locks campaign.
It worked sufficiently for what we needed it to do, but looking back, that was all on us, you know what I mean?
In 1999, they showed up at the Hot 97 Summer Jam wearing Let the Locks Go t-shirts. Things got heated. Someone hit Diddy with a chair. That finally convinced him to cut ties, and the Locks signed with Rough Riders for over a decade.
Probably after the argument with Diddy, when Styles threw the chair at Puff. You know what I mean? I ain't sure, but that was probably the last.
But here's the real tea. The Locks wanted their publishing rights. They exposed that Diddy owned 50% of their publishing. When Diddy claimed he only owned 20% and made $400,000 from them, the group came with receipts, actual court documents. They spilled everything. Imagine working for years and years, hard work, and somebody that has nothing to do with that is getting the bulk of it.
Businessmen. We all mature adults say all that right there. I'm at my office. Y'all can sit on this interview with her and talk as long as y'all want to talk about it, or you can take the invitation I gave you before.
Jadakiss and Styles P weren't staying quiet. They revealed the shocking truth. Once we decided to go against Diddy, he had the power to block us from ever putting a song out ever again. We didn't have no leverage really besides the street. Really besides the street.